5.
We're good.
We're okay? I see heads nodding. Okay. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Select Board meeting for the town of Wilton for January 19th. And I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Tiffany?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tiff. I would like to review the minutes for January 5th. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? David? How do you vote, David? You're muted.
Yes.
Thank you. Tiffany?
Aye.
Tom?
Yes.
Phil?
Aye.
I vote yes, it is unanimous. Thank you. Moving to Water and Wastewater Department report. Hines, Rhonda, whoever, go ahead.
Hello. For quarterly report. Okay, so everything's been going well. We've been even with the COVID and all of that wonderful stuff.
We can't hear you, Heinz.
Just need to speak a little closer to the microphone, Heinz.
Can you hear me now?
Not much.
All right.
I just thought it was my old age.
I tried to hike up my volume, but it didn't work.
Mine's at 100%.
We could when you first started, so maybe you moved away from it.
Okay, how are we doing now? Can you hear me?
No
A
better.
lot better.
Okay. So with COVID, everything else as everybody knows, it's kind of changed all of our world. So we've just been trying to take that into account with everything that's going on, especially with our interactions with the public. You know, at the town office, everybody's masked up. We try to be masked up whenever we're around the people. We're down in person right now. Dale went away to surgery today, so he'll be out for a little bit. So we're down to back to 4 guys for the next couple months. Everything else, knock on wood, is looking okay. We haven't had any major breaks other than the one I talked to you about last time over on Tannery. We're still waiting on one major part on that to get that back up and running, and then we'll be good to go and waiting for the spring projects. And then did you all get copies of the roofing estimates? Something that I'd like to run.
Get closer again.
Okay. Do you all have copies of the roofing estimates?
Yes.
There we are. We got the 3 of these. I'm gonna write this into the budget. So I wanted you guys to see the 3 proposals that we were given. One from Fowler's Roofing, one from St. Hilaire, and one from Arctic Roofing. I recommend we go with the cheapest, which is Arctic Roofing. That's up to you guys to decide on that one.
Heinz, did we put that out to bid or did we just ask these people prices?
I called up different people. I was trying to get some numbers. So I called up 3 different local contractors, St. Hilaire. I called everybody that said they were a roofing contractor in Farmington, and none of them were. So these are the 3 that I got. No, I didn't put this out to bid.
I just
'Cause
wondering,
it's gonna be something that we hope to get done in the spring or the summer. So I was just reaching out to people, just trying to get some numbers and deal with people who were okay with it starting then.
well, I know we had someone that's done quite a bit for Frank, and I just didn't know if he was asked. I know he had come in less than most of the other people in a lot of the other items that we had done. You know what I'm
Nope,
talking about?
I did
Rhonda?
not reach out to him.
You know who it is?
If it's the same guy who did the building,
Yes.
who
Yeah.
built his new building,
Yeah.
yes, I do know who that is.
Okay.
He's down. He he's a local, but I didn't reach out to him. I was just trying to stay with roofing contractors and not a general contractor who does roofing.
I'm all
If
set.
you'd like me to, though, I can. I guess that's your guys' call.
Tom?
I'm fine with what Heinz has done. I think you're just St. Hilaire is the lowest one and what you got to do. So
The one who was the lowest was Arctic.
oh, Arctic. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was Arctic, and he was by quite a margin. We were going to go with this cheaper of the two bids, just the regular asphalt roofing. The last one lasted since 93. So I don't see any reason we can't get another 20 to 30 years out of this one. And then with the painting and the work we did on the building, the exterior of the building should be good for the next 20, 30 years, barring trees or something like that falling into it.
Keith, may I?
Go ahead.
So with Arctic, it says add $500 for chimney, add $2,500 upgrade to Serentine Landmark Pro Shingles. Would that be, are you recommending that they do the Pro Shingles or not the Pro Shingles?
No, I didn't. And when I was talking with the estimators and the owner there, that's just, I don't see any reason to go up to those. He bid it out at not at the baseline, but again, not at the real super expensive ones.
So your recommendation is that just to go with the base price of the $22,000?
Yes, with the architectural asphalt shingles. Those are the easiest to repair. Those are plentiful. You know what I mean? It's not a special order in case in case there is a leak or something like that. And he's going to grace ice and water shield the whole roof, which was something that I requested as well.
Okay, continue on, I guess, because that's just informational, right?
Yeah, that's just informational. I'm going to write that one into the budget. So I guess I need a decision from you guys which one to go with, so I make sure I get that a line item representing that.
So
Go ahead, David.
I have a question as far as our bidding policy that we approved a couple of years ago. Does this fall under the bidding or request for proposals because of the dollar amount? I just want to make sure we're following process.
According to that, we are, because I went and got the 3 estimates, and it specifically states if you're going to do anything, you needed 3 estimates. So that's why I went with those.
Yeah. So I know it's 3 estimates up to a certain amount of money. I'm not quite sure, I'm fine as long as it's up to a certain amount of money. It's just 3 estimates. I think it's 50,000, but that I might be confusing with the university.
I was thinking there was a dollar amount, and I don't know what right off the top of my head also. So
I don't remember the dollar amount. I just know that the cost of these estimates, I figured it would be best for all if you guys had a say in it.
So since this is only, Keith, if I may, sorry.
Rhonda's shaking her head, so how about she gives us some information?
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now because of what the prices came in at, then it would need to be a competitive bid solicitation process.
So what is the threshold? Just
10 to 20.
10 to 20. Okay.
Over 20 is the sealed bid.
So Keith,
That
may I?
sounds like you got to bid it out.
Yeah, go ahead, Tiffany.
Yep. So at this point here, since informational, my suggestion is that looking at the, you've got the high and the low and the mid, I would recommend budgeting in $25,000 just for a budget. So that way there, when the bid comes in, you've got your 3, like I said, you've got out, so you have an idea of what it would go, but that would be my suggestion. I don't know what other board members think.
Yep, no, I think that makes sense.
Okay, and then you guys want me to put that out to bid so I can put that out here in the next month?
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. And that's pretty much it for me. Everybody's just waiting for spring.
Keith?
Tom?
Yeah, question, not related to this, but did we ever find out what it costs to do COVID testing?
I was looking into it and the prices were pretty astronomical. So, and honestly, with everything that went on, Tom, I didn't get any farther than doing it. I made a couple calls down to Massachusetts and it was just going to be a long trail. And I honestly, Tannery Street happened and I got distracted.
Tiffany?
So Tom, I do know what it is because the University Maine system is any place that there's a campus, we're doing wastewater surveillance with the town. And so it's multiple thousands of dollars per test.
Okay, just answer my question. Thank you.
Rhonda?
Heinz transmission line RFP.
Oh, request for proposal. So that's right. Sorry about that. I've been talking, Tom, this one concerns you and you as well, Phil. We've been talking about the transmission lines. With the loan being done or just about done for paying for the plant, I wanted to switch everything over to looking in and to doing the new transmission lines. So we want to put an RFP out to start getting proposals from engineering firms. I'm trying to get everything in time to try to get different grants. Maine Rural Water is helping me out, and we've been dealing with a bunch of people. I can't even remember all their names, honestly. We're just trying to. What we need to do is we need to do an engineering study. So I want to get a proposal from the different firms because we have to look. We've already come up with different ideas on how to deal with the water going through Applegate, all that up in there affecting you guys. It's just something that we really need to do, and we need to get on this as soon as possible because there's a couple of sources for grant money and they haven't given it out yet where we could possibly get part of our engineering costs reimbursed, which I mean, I found paperwork from 2012 that said it would be around $30,000, and prices have kind of gone up since 2012. So anything we can do to get the ball rolling, to get in on, grants and any type of money that we can get is greatly helpful.
What's your target date, Heinz, this summer?
Say that again, Tom. I'm sorry.
Target for doing the work?
More than likely, honestly, not for a year because we need to come up with a good plan. It's going to have to be done in sections because it's the main transmission line. So we have to continually supply water to both communities, us and North J. So like just thinking feasibility, we'd only be able to do like maybe 1,000 to 2,000 feet at a time, have to set it all up and it's going to be a multi-year project. I do not see anything starting this year. I think we just need to get the word out there, get some engineering firms in, and then just decide who we want to go with, and then just start getting the ball rolling as soon as possible.
Okay, I gotta get in my charger. I'll be right back.
The other item, Heinz, is phosphate for the sewer department. After they get this done and give you the blessing to go ahead for the RFP, then it'll be phosphate sewer department.
I make a motion that to allow Heinz to go forward with an RFP for the transmission line for the water.
Hearing.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Not seeing any. David?
Well, the motion should say the RFP for engineering of the transmission line, not just the transmission line.
I amend my motion as such.
On the amendment.
So do we want to vote on the amendment first?
Sure, might as well do Robert's Rules of Order.
Yeah, we just remove the motion.
Yeah, I like that idea better.
I remove the motion
Okay. And redo.
and redo. I make a motion that to allow Heinz to go to bid for an RFP for the engineering of transmission line for the water department.
I'll
Second.
second it.
I beat you.
Any other discussion? David, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tiffany,
Aye.
Tom,
Yes,
Phil?
Aye.
I'll vote yes, it is approved. And now, what'd she say, phosphorus,
Phosphate.
phosphate?
Yeah, phosphorus removal. We gotta, with our permit this year, we are required to maintain 4 pounds per day out of our plant. That goes into effect June, May. So, but right now with the new administration in Washington, they're talking about amending those rules, and there's not a whole lot we can do about it. I just wanted to bring it to your guys' attention that on the line items, when you see me next meeting, and we're gonna be going over the budget, you're gonna wonder why the chemicals has gone up even more. Next year, if the EPA gets their way, that line item's probably gonna double or triple. Because they're trying to put some really tight limits on us. And with us, where it affects us is Wilson Stream is such a small receiving water. We're permitted to run off of 7.5 CFS. And that right there, you know, versus dealing with the Kennebec or the Androscoggin, where you have thousands of CFS going by, where we have 7.5. So this is just letting you guys know, you know, Tom, I know you've been on all those committees and all that. We got a big meeting on Friday that I got to attend, and it's probably going to be a lot of meetings for the next year. But again, just letting you guys know that they're pretty much going to come down on us. And right now we're just trying to mitigate the damage, but it's going to affect us dramatically. And if some of the numbers come through, we're probably going to have to raise rates next year. And that's what nobody wants to hear.
you're using aluminum chloride to take it out.
Yeah, we're going forward with a polyaluminum chloride, a PAC. The reason why ferric acid is so just, we got brand new plant, we got steel everywhere. Ferric will destroy it. It destroys impellers, destroys pumps, it tears apart clarifiers. We got those 2 brand new clarifiers. So everything that I'm doing and that the crew is doing, we are trying to stay away from that, because that's just money wasted. We're going with the aluminum, the liquid aluminum right now for the numbers, with our numbers for what we're going to be mandated for next year. We're going to go with anywhere from 12 to 17 gallons of liquid aluminum every day to try to get to the proposed numbers. The math just gets big, but we're looking at a lot. So we got a lot of stuff coming down, and I just wanted to cue you guys up so that way there later on can see at least I've been talking about it. Any questions?
Tiffany?
All right. I'll ask, because if you said it's going to go up, you know, double. So what is the current?
The current, I upped it in this year's proposed budget. I upped it by, I don't have the number in front of me. Rhonda, do you?
Yeah, which line item was it again?
It was the chemical line item on the
Chlorination.
sewer side.
Yeah, so you were at 11 last year and you've budgeted 30 this year. Does that sound right?
Yeah,
I'm looking at the right line.
yeah, that's the number that came into my head. I didn't want to.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's a huge increase, you know, from 11 to 30. And then next year, if they come down with what they're talking about, I'm probably going to have to at least double that. And that's crazy amount of increase over a 2-year span. But we don't really have, I mean, the main DEP, I mean, their hands are tied. I mean, it's not them. This is coming from the federal. So we're all we're doing right now is just trying to mitigate it.
Thanks. I just figured I'd get the sticker shock now, so when I see the number later on, it's, you know, not quite as bad.
It's giving me nightmares now. And that's it. That's all I got.
Rhonda, is it really all he has?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we ready to move on?
So-
Rhonda?
Do we want to make a motion to accept the report?
Go ahead.
I make a motion that we accept the Water and Wastewater Department report.
Seconded.
Any discussion? David, how do you vote?
Maybe you're muted.
Yes.
Tiffany?
Aye.
Tom?
Yep.
Phil?
Aye.
Vote yes, it is an unanimous. We accept your report. Thank you, Heinz.
Thanks, Heinz.
So we'll move on to Wilton Farmers Market. Rhonda?
Yes, the Wilton Farmers Market held the farmers market all summer long at McGillicuddy Park in downtown Wilton. And they would like to use the park for next year. Lisa's here to just kind of tell you about how the year went. And she's asking on behalf of the Wilton Farmers Market to be able to use it again for next year. Lisa?
Make a motion, we let him use the park.
You
Pardon?
may want to hear.
The market was very successful this past year. We did better, we being the vendors, in Wilton downtown rather than out on the highway where we were the 2 previous years. A lot of the townspeople were repeat customers. They were happy to see us. Vacationers were happy to see us. And we would like to come back again and have another successful year.
Make a
COVID
motion.
may have closed things or slowed things down a little bit, but with masks and we had ropes up and sanitizers everywhere, and I think we did well.
I make a motion, we give them permission to use McGillicuddy Park again this year.
Second.
And I
A
want to
motion and
thank
a
you. It
second.
was great because I enjoyed going down there on Saturdays.
Oh, good. It was nice to see you and saw Tiffany there and Rhonda, and that was good. And thank you very much. We hope to have another good year.
Tiffany?
Yeah, I must say I thoroughly enjoyed having the farmers market downtown. It was a great way to, number one, support, local farmers markets, and also it was one of the few times that I got to see people socially distant, and really enjoyed getting to know all the local market and vendors. So I fully support it.
Well, thank you. And while I have you all here, is there anything you're looking for that we can maybe find a vendor to supply you with?
Craft beer.
That's down the road at Ambition.
Oh, okay.
COVID vaccine.
Pardon?
The COVID vaccine.
Yes, well, that's out of my wheelhouse.
Rhonda?
One thing I wanted to know if Lisa could bring up, one of the discussions last year before they went there was how the parking would be. I received no complaints. Didn't have any complaints from the police department or anything. And Lisa, I didn't know if you could kind of touch on that. You and I had discussed it a little bit.
There seemed to be plenty of parking. Very few people parked right in front of McGillicuddy Park. Most people parked on the other side of the road. Those that did park in front did not cause a problem at all. There was one man that would come in, fly in, park his car, grab his loaf of bread, get in his car, and drive off again. So it was convenient for those quick stops that people made. The one concern that we had gotten when originally talked to the different store owners around town was the post office was concerned that people would park in front of the post office to get their mail, leave their car there and take up spaces for other people. And when I talked to Trish, she said that was not a problem at all. So.
Tiffany?
So Lisa, I mean, I don't think there is anybody that's doing this, but I mean, the only thing that I wasn't able to pick up there is seafood. So I don't think anybody's going to be able to do that, but I was able to pick up my, my eggs, my bread, my vegetables, my meat, and the only thing that I can think of, if you asked if there was somebody that carries seafood as well, I would invite them, but I don't see that being local.
Well, I had talked with one of the seafood vendors that comes to, where is it, the Giffords. And they said that they already have their schedule. And the guy at Heights also has his schedule already planned. So certainly if you know of anybody, we'd like to talk to them.
Thank you.
All right, so we have a motion. Any more discussion? David, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tiffany?
Aye.
Tom? Tom?
Yes.
Thank you. And Phil?
Aye.
I'll vote yes, it is unanimous. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Moving on to ATV trail access. Rhonda?
Yes, I have brought the board up to date before on conversation I've had with the Western Maine ATV organization and Bob Delot. And Bob's next steps were to go to the state and question them, and I was going to talk locally to our police and fire department, which I did do. Bob, for the past 2 months, had an illness. But he was able to talk with the state. And what he did find out is that in order for the state to put up signs, they would do it like in the springtime when they put up their other highway signs and so forth, but that the town or the club is going to have to pay for those signs. Now, he didn't have a price on what that would cost. When it was done in Greenville, which I think Greenville may have been a little bit longer, I'm not sure. The cost was about $8,000 for putting it up. So we're not sure where to go as far as the next step. Now, I know this is not something that's been budgeted for this year to try to do now. I didn't know if you wanted to hold a special town meeting on this, if you wanted to put this on the, as a warrant article on town meeting and then budget for it as we find out a little bit more what our total costs would be. When I did talk with police and fire, the only concerns at that time were, you know, what about people that may live off the main road, say out here in Weld Road? Are they going to start going down the road to try to get onto the access trail? Are we going to start seeing more of that? What kind of interaction if we let them go all the way to the lake? What would that be like? Do we need to set up certain areas for ATVs to park, or do we just mingle everybody together, whether it's at the boat launch, the foot of the lake, or not allow them that way? Or the same thing with downtown. So we haven't been able to find, you know, a whole lot more exact information out just because Bob was kind of laid up and really actually still is. So we've put phone calls into the department to try to find out if we can what the exact cost would be. I just would kind of like a little bit more guidance on which direction you think you might want to go. Do we hold the public hearing? Do we just wait and put it on town meeting?
So you do have money that you set aside every year to do signs and other projects like that. What kind of money is in that?
Do you mean
That-
infrastructure account?
Is that like $1,500 or something?
Yeah, that is, I'll tell you, I've got the budget right in front of me. There's 2,400 left in that account right now.
Okay, David?
So is it just a matter of the select board saying to the state, this is what we want to do? Does the town have to vote to approve it? I guess that's what kind of the information I thought we were going to get.
Yeah, I thought that would be a little bit more of it too. Again, he was that, you know, that was the part that he was looking into, and I did speak with him again today. But that's not the kind of information he got. So I think a lot of it is you determining what kind of information you would like to go, how much involvement you would like the public to weigh in on. Do they want ATVs going from the area of Steve's Market all the way to downtown and back? And we have not asked for any public input yet. And it seemed to me as though you would want to ask for some public input.
I think we want to know the legal part before we get the public input. I mean, if there's no legal way to do it, there's no reason for public input.
legal way, or you mean cost way? Because you can do it. We have to pay the cost for putting up the signs. I'm not sure what you mean by legal way.
Is it, I think what David asked is it up to the selectmen or is it up to the town of Wilton residents?
Okay,
Has the authority.
okay.
Tom?
I believe it's up to us, but I think the proper way to do it is for us to open it up to a public hearing of some kind and listen to the input before we make a decision. If I recall back to when we dealt with this before, we did have a public hearing and they were actually going to come down Village View, which is a whole different situation, really into the community, into housing local people, and they were very much against it. But I think in this case, we still have to, I think it's our decision, but I think we'd be proper in having some kind of special town meeting to see what the people have to think.
I do certainly believe we need to get public input, but yeah, I would like to know for sure if it's gonna be something that's a town vote or if it's something that we decide ourselves.
You can verify that. I'm pretty sure I'm right because, but you can check.
Tiffany?
Yeah, I'm with Tom and others is that I really believe we want to hear loud and clear what the people of this town have to say about this. This is going to impact people one way or the other, either positively or they might be negative, and I want to hear both sides and then go from there. And whether or not we decide as a select board, or if it's really needs to have more public discourse, then potentially we'll decide whether or not there's a special town meeting or even put forth to the regular town meeting.
I don't believe there's any hurry to do this.
No, if you wanted it done for this year, the state typically puts in their signs, like I guess in early spring. So, and we have to fill out a permit for this also. So they were recommending we get this done by February. And I said, that's just rushing things too much. I think I kind of told them, I mean, I really believe that you might want to really thoroughly vet this out before jumping in and trying to do it for this summer. So and again, things did get held up a little bit here recently, so.
So the only reason it would be held up though would be for signs?
You need to do well, if you're going to approve the permitting, Bob did say that there would have to be permitting, and then they order the signs and then they install the signs. And so we just have to find out. It would most likely have to be something the town's going to have to pay for, which we didn't budget for that specifically. And yeah, you would just, those would be some of your costs.
David?
Well, even if you wanted to do it this year, is it a big deal to put in whatever your permit application is? You could always not act on it once you get public input, but you could get the ball rolling ahead of time.
Good idea.
Does that make sense, Rhonda?
Yeah, it does. Bob has given me the state coordinator's number to contact because he still really isn't able to at this point try to go through in some of these. So I'll contact the state and take up that part and then come back to you with a little bit more specific information. I'll probably contact our attorneys just to make sure that we're going down the right road for authority so that we don't start something and then find out it's not right.
Actually, Rhonda, the coordinator can tell you, you don't have to bring the lawyers into this. I
Okay.
don't think. I think the coordinator will be able to tell you pretty clearly as to whose approval it needs to be. It's in statute. It's pretty easy. Saved
Okay.
a couple $100.
Buy another sign.
Okay.
Anything else on that, Rhonda?
Nope, I'll bring back more information when I do get it.
Okay,
Thank you.
so general assistant budget discussion.
Yes, I wanted to let you know that on our budgeting process, all of our budgets right now are they're right on target with the exception of general assistance. And general assistance has gone to the max already of what was budgeted. We have not run into this before at all. The budgeted amount was $5,000. We do, however, get 75% of that back, which we put into a revenue line. It has to go in the revenue line for auditing, and it doesn't go back into this line. So I just wanted to let you know that this line is going to be over, and it is not so much for COVID relief type things with residents, but there were a number of funerals that we just never see like this. We usually see 0 to 1 a year, and we've already seen 4 in the last couple of months. So that's what's put us over, even though they were all cremations, that's what has put us over. So I'm letting you know, just to kind of get your blessing, that we really don't have any choice if somebody needs general assistance. It has to be approved, and we do get 75% of that back. But I'm letting you know right now that that line item is over.
Okay, any questions for Rhonda? No? Then we will move on to discussion of Wilson Lake retaining wall project.
You had a couple of questions for me to go back to CV and Mahar, Jeff Reed at CV and Mahar, and ask him. One of your questions was, what is more stable? Which of the plans would be more stable for the wall? Would it be the vertical diagonal parking, or would it be the parallel parking? And, you know, he said that the further away you stay from the wall, the better it is for the wall, because you're not putting as much pressure on the wall. He still, from an engineering standpoint, believes that the second drawing, the second plan that they came up with is a much better engineering plan. The railing, I did ask what that would look like, and what he told me on that is your bottom rail needs to be like a maximum of 4 inches off the top of the wall of the concrete. And through it, there's going to be no spaces larger than 4 inches. So like a ball can't get through it or anything. Your railing would just generally be like with spindles through it with a top railing. I mean, it'd be something that they could try to make so that it's not big and clunky, so forth, but still there for the protection of people, and not something that would be wide enough that somebody's going to try to stand up on and jump off. Generally, it is 3 to 4 feet. He didn't have the exact figure for me. It would be what the height of that would be. I think that was it on that. There are a number of comments that are out on Facebook and a few emails. I still need to forward all of that. There are a couple different sites on our Facebook page where people have left comments. Generally, what most of the people are looking at is being able to pull in and look straight down the lake. So from that standpoint, that's the way that people are used to. As you go by now, you see people pull in and stop and look down the lake. So those are what we're getting for comments. We probably had about around 20 comments total so far. I'm actually surprised I didn't get more emails and everything on it. I did ask Jeff, we don't need obviously that decision tonight. I'll send some of that out. He does believe that overall between the two plans, it's probably not going to be a huge difference as far as an engineering price of it, but he did feel that when you're ready to get to the engineering portion of it, you will by then need to really kind of determine which way you're going. We do want to apply for a grant. We don't know yet what the cost of that whole project would be. Their next step, which is not included in this very first part, would be to do a topographic survey. And that would, let me see if I can kind of get you what it is that they said they're looking at. That's kind of pre-engineering on it. And it would be the topographic survey for the roadway, parking area, embankment, and retaining wall to support the engineering design for the retaining wall replacement. They anticipate that they could complete it in a couple of days, and the price for it is going to be between $1,000 and $2,000 because it's going to be an in-house type of a plan. And that's all the information that he gave me on that right now. Then after that, you would go and when you're ready, then you would look at one, approving the design, and two, doing a contract either with them or going back out to bid to do a contract with somebody else to get to the next stage, which would be the actual engineering design.
Back to the rail, Rhonda, could you get them to send you a picture of what the least amount of rail would be that we could have? I'm not following your description as far as a picture in my head that makes sense. So could he send you just a little visual on what the minimum would look like?
Okay, I'm emailing Jessica and Jeff and asking if they can send a picture. So when I get that, I'll forward that out to you.
Okay, and like I say, whatever's minimal on restricting vision.
Okay. Yep.
Ethan, I
Yeah.
think
No?
it's 38 inches, and I think Jack Mills went down there and actually said put a barrier up to look above it, and your car sits above it, so you don't really see it.
Okay.
Oh, and she talks about a ball not being able to fit through, so that's why I'd like to see.
It's your lower one, but yeah.
Yeah, it's between the bottom railing and the cement, and then also in between the spindles, because you don't want like kids to be able to get their heads stuck in there and so forth, just like stairs. Okay, I will send that out, Keith.
Okay, thank you.
So the only thing I do want to know is, are you ready to go to the next step for the topographic survey on that, or do you want more information first?
Do we have the money?
Yes, we do.
Okay, Tom?
Well, does the do we have to make, I think what I heard you say, we don't have to make the decision on vertical versus parallel to go on to the next step. Is that correct?
I don't think we do. From what I understood of him, talking to him, I didn't think we need to in order to go on to that next step, not to do the topographic survey. He
Yes,
did say he would like at some point for the decision to be made so that they can do their engineering design.
And they need the
That's
topographic to do that. So I'd make a motion, we proceed with the topographic survey.
Second.
Motion and a second to proceed. Any discussion on that motion? Not seeing any. David? You're muted, David.
Yes.
Tiffany?
Aye.
Tom?
Yep.
Phil?
Aye.
I will vote yes. It is unanimous to proceed. That's all.
A question I have,
Go ahead.
have all of you been getting comments or emails from people?
I've gotten a couple.
A few.
I got a few.
Verbal thoughts mostly, yes.
Okay, Good.
I'll share almost all of mine are vertical. I mean, and as I said, my view, and thank you to those that testified as I started watching down there, and people pull in and watch, look. And the point was made that 3 months of the year is when you got swimming, 9 months of the year, people are viewing, so.
Yes, I had asked originally on the discussion if they could fit a couple more up by the pump station, but that never did happen, so. All right, so we're all set with that, Rhonda?
we're all set with that.
All right, we will move on to the manager's report.
It's coming on to that time of year, budgets, nomination papers, etc. So nomination papers will be available for select board and for school board beginning February 26th, and they will be due back on April 12th. The elections will be on June 8th, and the town meeting will be on June 14th.
Do you have the names of the people running or seats open, whatever you want to call it?
Phil?
I didn't hear you.
Phil,
Phil's seat, and that's the only one?
yeah, right.
Nothing on school board?
School board is,
It's Angie.
thank you, Angela Leclerc.
So Angie and Phil. Okay, thank you.
I've already sent out the budget schedules to the department heads. I'll send you out your copies. The first budget meetings will be held at the end of March. I'll get together make sure I've got the whole budget committee. So I'll have that for you for next time if there's any others that need to be nominated to that. And we will be looking, like I said, end of March, beginning of April, that area. And then moving forward that way, approving the final warrant the week of May 3rd. And again, town meeting on June 14th. I don't know where the town meeting will be held. I don't know if we'll be able to be inside at that time. But I figure we're pros at this whole COVID thing. We've done it outside. I'm sure we could do it outside again.
Yeah, it worked all right.
It worked.
Actually, I prefer it outside. It's nicer.
Well, I was happy that I didn't have to carry burgers back and forth that you guys were cooking, so.
If the weather's nice, it was okay. We really lucked out. I don't know if you can luck out every time outside.
Make a short meeting if it starts to rain in the middle of it.
That's true. That's true. I just need to remind people that after the end of January, beginning February 1st, if dogs have not been licensed, then there is an additional $25 state fee that gets added onto that. So you want to make sure you come in to do that. And then the next thing, I've also done a schedule of all the meetings for the year, which are always subject to change. So I'll send that out to you also, along with the budget schedule. And then the last item that I have is that if you've noticed on Weld Road that Consolidated has been installing the new telephone poles with the eye for us looking at upgrading that sidewalk, putting in a new sidewalk. Because DOT is doing the work, as I'd already described to you through town, which is the light light paving that will go on all the roads. And they'll be working around us doing the sidewalk. We want to get that done first. They will have a meeting with us on Thursday, and David's already attending that. It will be by a Zoom meeting, and I didn't know if there was one other person that wanted to attend the Zoom meeting. It is at 10 o'clock in the morning. So if you do, if you can, let me know. I'm feeling there's quite a few from DOT on that meeting. So just let me know at another time if you are able, and I'll get an invitation to you. Other than that, that's all I have.
Is the weight limit for the Pond Road new?
The weight limit for the Pond Road is new. I think David, did I bring it up to the whole board a while ago? Because we have met with DOT on this, except you're muted.
I don't recall. That was actually what, back in October we met?
We did. It was quite a while ago. They had brought that up to us. I thought I had sent that out to everybody and we met with them. And David you were at that meeting for most of it, David, in and out. And Jeff Adams from the road committee also, as we met with DOT. They are not doing an upgrade of that bridge for a few more years, which we'll get a little bit more of an update on Thursday when we do have the meeting. But because of that, they did need to lower the limit on that. And
They anticipate possibly lowering the limit one more time before, I think isn't it like 3 years out before the
correct,
bridge is going to be replaced? And
right,
it has one more inspection in between, so the weight limit could go down again, and then it will impact highway, fire, school buses, everything. It'll be just basically passenger vehicles only across it.
it doesn't affect our fire department yet. And for our highway department, John made some adjustments to his roots so that it didn't affect his roots that way after he made the adjustments.
So it's 25 now. I saw the new sign out on Route 2. That's why I was asking.
Okay, so they've got him out. All right,
So that's all you have, Rhonda?
that is all I have, yes.
And any other business from anyone else? Tiffany?
Yeah, the only business that I have is just Rhonda, after this meeting is over, our live stream to Facebook died. If you would send me the cloud link, I'll get it posted online so people that are watching are able to continue seeing the rest of the proceeding.
Okay, it's showing recording, but
Oh, it's recording. We're recording, but it stopped recording to Facebook. It stopped 19 minutes in.
okay.
Tom?
Just one of the things that came up at the last meeting or the cemetery meeting was the possibility of some monuments. I think that was one of the things we talked about a while ago. I met with Kent Wiles out there. I'm going to have to work with Rhonda before the next selectmen's meeting, possibly approaching mainland to help us get a conceptual design put together. We can do it. It'll be very nice down there to do it. And it also protects us from the well of the individual that lives close by. So with some of the things that Kent suggested, that people are being more cremated and can help us gain space down there and a whole bunch of things. So, but I'll talk with her and give you more formal presentation. But I met with Kent and it was a good meeting and we got some good ideas. I think it would be neat.
Thank you, Tom.
We held a cemetery committee meeting prior to Tom and Kent going out on site and meeting.
Anything else to come before us tonight?
No.
Not seeing anything. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.